Obviously, Taiwan being an All-American, he showed a lot of versatility this year. I mean, he's able to play corner, but he's also, been in that Husky quote unquote nickel spot he likes to call it. I mean, how much do you think this is a product of him showing some of that versatility in terms of all he can do on the field?
Far as getting the awards, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, to become All-American, I think you got to do a lot of things the great way. And when you watch him on the field, when he's out at corner, he's playing press man, off man, a little bit of cover two. Then we put him at the nickel position. He's blitzing. He's doing things that really kind of going. Really, the nickel's kind of a linebacker. We just take a linebacker off and put another DB in there. So what that committee had a chance to see is a guy who does so many different things, and even on special teams. And so when you put that all together, to me, I think that equals an All-American. And he's talked about the Thorpe Award, and I think when that committee, that family looks at it, you look at the whole body of his statistics and what he's done. I think he needs to be in that conversation, and I think he'll keep working hard. I know he will, and hopefully one day he can get that. He can accomplish that goal.
All right, Tom Brew and Kevin Brockway.
He obviously came to campus with a lot of talent already, but what can you tell us about the last 2 years with him, of what he's gotten dramatically better at?
Well, I think, the one thing that you can't coach is just he has that will to work, and loves to be coached. He loves to be pushed. He loves to watch film. And when I got here, I just had to refine some things. Sometimes in high school, when you're the best athlete, you can kind of have what I call dirty eyes. You look in the backfield and you kind of cheat a little bit. But when you get to this level and you get to these quarterbacks who can look off one direction and come back and go through the reads, it's the little things. It's film study and knowing the receiver you're going to go against on Saturday, what type of release he has. And so those are things that I've tried to refine over the last couple of years. But his athletic ability, that's God-given. And so the one thing about it is he has taken his ability and he's crafted and he works hard. I mean, I think sometimes people kind of overlook that when you see him, or people don't realize how hard he truly works. And he doesn't let the things outside of football distract him from his overall goals. And you look at his grades. Here's a young man, people that, like I said, I tweeted out the other day, I'm so excited for his All-American award, but I'm more excited that this young man has a 3.4 GPA. And he was Mr. Academic the month of, I think, February. So those are things that I'm excited about. And I think that as he grows, as he builds, he's going to have one heck of a resume.
All right, Kevin, then Matt Weaver.
What's he like in that cornerback room in terms of obviously he's a tremendously talented guy. I mean, Jalen Williams is a little bit older, and then you have Reese that's probably around as well, maybe a year older in terms of years. But is he kind of a leader, or is that something that's kind of still developing?
No, he's a guy's guy, man. He's a leader. He the great thing about him is he don't have to talk a whole lot, but when he does talk, people listen. I think he's started to kind of assume that role, take that role, and a lot of times that your play on the field allows you now to be more vocal. I think as a freshman last year, he just went out and did his job, and then I think you saw him have the success on the field, and coming into this year, you start to see him be a little more of a vocal leader. And in our room, I think the great thing about it, we have guys who are pretty much kind of older guys who've been around with Jalen and Reese. And then you have Tiawan here. They all, respect each other. And I think that's the great thing about this room is, sometimes everybody needs to kind of be pushed, and they love one another enough that when they're out of pocket, when they're out of line, the other guy can say something and it's out of love. It ain't out of disrespect, and they get it. And I think that even with him too, Reese can kind of jump him a little bit, or Jalen can jump him a little bit, and he'll tighten up. And he has that same respect in the room that when he says something to those guys, they tighten up as well. So we've created a great dynamic in that corner room, and you start to see what the young guys build buying into it. The Larry Tracy's, and you see Lim and Chris Keys. And so when you set that standard and you get it kind of moving and going, those older guys like a Tiawan, like a Reese, like a Jalen, now can just kind of refine and get those guys kind of becoming leaders as they get older.
All right, Matt and Zach.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Great. How are you, buddy?
I'm okay.
Good.
I know obviously team success is big when you guys go out on the recruiting trail, getting these wins, going to bowl games, beating, big teams. But also I know guys, when they get to this level, they want to be where Tiawan is, where a lot of your defensive guys have been this year with the awards, the individual accolades. when you go into a kid's home and talk to his family and show them what you've done individually as a corners coach and what you guys, the defensive staff, have done, how important is this? I mean, how much does this kind of give you kind of cachet on the recruiting trail?
Well, proof is in the pudding, because ultimately when you sit in somebody's living room, they're going to ask you, okay, you say these things, right? Show me. And so he was one of the first guys that when and I say this, but when I spoke to him, these are things that we talked about. Hey, man, I'm going to get you to be an All-American. I'm going to push you. You got to put in the work. His goal was, to become a Thorpe Award winner. We're going to push you to keep going to do that. Now I can show people when I go into living rooms, I talk to people's mothers and fathers, grandpas about this young man and show him the foundation that we started. And once we built that foundation, how he, kind of came into his own. And so it definitely helps in recruiting. And he's a lovable guy. I don't think that you've run across too many people that don't love being around him and his generosity, his gratitude. And I think that helps more too. You just watch his tweets. I mean, he goes and supports all different sports on campus. And not a lot of student athletes go do that. I'm talking about revenue sports and non-revenue sports. He's at the volleyball games. He's at the women's basketball game. He's at the swim and dive meet. And so when you add those things together, and when you go into people's family rooms, you can speak about this person, and you know that it's true. And they can reach out to him and see the same thing that I say about myself. And so I think that's awesome, and I think it's going to help in the future.
All right, Zach, and then Rick.
Yes, Coach, following on just maybe the general question too about bowls. I know it feels like every time y'all make a bowl, we ask what it means for sort of the next few months or years on the recruiting trail. But do you feel an impact from the way you guys have stacked them now? It's 4 in 6 years. That's obviously the best run in a very long time. And I guess guys talk about the expectation now being, that there being sort of that benchmark. Do you feel like it's maybe not even such a novel thing when kind of you go on the road that you're able to paint a picture for a kid of this is a program that is just consistently kind of in this mix, in this postseason field?
Well, definitely so. I mean, I think that, any young man that you go recruit wants to go play for a place that is going to win consistently. It's going to be on a national stage. And I think when we go out and we go out recruiting, this just gives us like I said, a benchmark to show people the direction that we're going and the foundation that has been set by Coach Allen. And I think that at the end of the day, we just got to keep pressing forward, and we got to win. And so it's not just good enough to get to a bowl, and now we got to win the bowl. And so hopefully these young men are taking heed to that. They're going to do what it takes here on Saturday afternoon to make sure that now that when recruiting does start again, after we get past this COVID deal, that we can talk about us being a bowl champion, not just a participant. Yeah, I should go back to English.
All right, Rick, and then John Blau.
Yeah, Coach. I don't know how involved you were in terms of actually recruiting him, but how did you guys find him? And why do you think you were able to get him? Because when he came, you didn't have this track record of success. He had to believe in something.
Well, I spoke with, we could talk at that time once a week, and he would call me every day. And I think that at the end of the day, you build a relationship. And it's like anything in sales, man. You got to show him, what we have. We got to know what his needs and wants are. And we explain that to him that he wants to be a trailblazer. He wants to do something different. All right. And when he said that, this place fitting. And, the things that we talked about in recruiting trail, he came to our campus and saw that it just wasn't, blowing smoke. It was actually truthful. And I told him I was going to coach him hard, right? I'm going to be on him, right? But I'm also be the first one to congratulate him, to hug him, love up on him when he does things right. And I'm big on school, and he knows that. And those are things that we just talked about in recruiting. And we didn't talk about a whole lot about football, to be honest with you. We talked about building this. His mom had already produced a great foundation, and I just wanted to make sure that I kind of pushed forward what she already started. And he believed us, and I think that ultimately, you see that. And it's more than football; it's a relationship. And he's going to be a guy that I check up on years after he's gone, and I understand that he's probably going to do the same for me as well. So that's what recruiting is about. I think obviously when you paint the picture and when you look at it, he is a prime example of really what it should be.
All right, John Blau, last one.
Tiawan said this, that he had no idea that there was never a cornerback that was first team All-American. Were you at all aware of that before, that IU had never had that kind of history, and how did you react when you find that out?
No, I didn't. I never knew. I actually called Keg after I heard the news, and I said, "Who was the other guy who had done it?" And we had to go back, or he had to go back and look at the archives and realize that it hadn't been done. And so I don't think it's a more fitting person to be the first. And he, like I said, too, humble guy, very, very grateful. And it goes to young people, when you do things right, you treat people right, I still believe that you get blessed. And he is a proven example of that. You can do it the right way. You can treat people the right way. You can go to work, and then you will still get the things that you deserve. And you don't have to be forceful. And like I said, too, you guys have met him, and he treats everybody with respect. And I just know that when you look at it, that's how it's supposed to be, and it makes you excited, because ultimately you hope that the guys in your room that come after him see that you can do it the right way. You can go to work. You don't have to say bad words all over the place. You can treat people with respect. You can open the door. You can be a gentleman and also be a beast on the field, and that's what he's done.